कालीकुर्चसमायुक्तमायाकूटोपदेशतः प्रणवार्थप्रबोधिन्यौ नमामि गुरुपादुके श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः क्रीं मात्रे नमः नमः सदसे. Good morning to one and all. Today we are going to look into a very important topic that Nityananda is beating his drums, is utilizing to the maximum out of in the past 9-10 days. That is the narrative of Hindu Holocaust. Now, whether there is actually a Hindu Holocaust happening, or at least anti-Hindu campaign that is happening in India or not, is the answer would be yes, 100% it is happening. The media is anti-Hindu in the sense of making fun of Hinduism and wanting to show Hinduism in a negative light. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And also, whether or not the elements in the society, like the Marxist elements who were involved in the mob lynching in Maharashtra, or the anti-Hindu elements in Tamil Nadu who are involved in besmirching the name of Kanchi Mutt and other organizations. So whether or not these people really do exist, the answer is absolutely yes. So we need to discuss the narrative of Nityananda's Hindu Holocaust in two separate planes, in two separate divisions. One is the foundation on which Nityananda is building this, and another one is the results he wants to gain out of that, and where he is inserting himself and his organization into this whole foundation. So when we separate these two things, this is a very minute, very technical process, because it is very easy to get carried away with his speech about Hindus being persecuted, which is true, and also accept what he is saying about himself and his organization. Now you may ask me a question: why are you separating Nityananda from the other sannyasis who are being persecuted in India? Well, the reason is very simple. He is not a sannyasi. I have proven this time and again from various perspectives that he is not knowledgeable in the scriptures, he has not taken sannyasa properly from anybody, and he has simply posed as a this one Mandaleshwar of the Mahamandaleshwar of whatever Akada Parishit, Mahanirvani Akada, and he has posed and he has tried to capture so many Adinams in Tamil Nadu, especially the Madurai Adinam, and he was successfully stopped from doing any of these things, and now every organization, including the Akhila Bharatiya Akada Parishit, has dropped his name out of the lists after the Kumbh Mela debacle that happened. So, but still he claims to be a part of all of these things. He claims ownership of all of these titles illegitimately. So that is one answer as to why Nityananda cannot be included in this list of persecuted Hindus or persecuted Hindu sannyasis. Now Nityananda is speaking about two things here. The first thing is the portrayal of Hindus in the media, in cinemas, so on and so forth. Basically, we need to understand he is from Tamil Nadu. I am also from Tamil Nadu. So I think he would have seen a lot of the so-called Kollywood movies, Tamil movies, and had grown up with it, same as me. So we will discuss it on that level. Basically, this whole anti-Hindu movement, or rather anti-Indian culture movement, started in Tamil Nadu, because the first media in Tamil Nadu, apart from newspapers are actually equally divided on the note of Hindu persecution, but the movies are highly biased on the note of Hindu persecution on the negative spectrum. So if you look at this trend, how this developed and how this is actually Basically, Indian cinema, especially Tamil cinema, started with the depiction of Puranas and Itihasas. So that was the first thing that happened. The movies, all the movies were about this one. Especially in Tamil Nadu, the dramas and plays of one Sankaradas Swamigal was used heavily in the movies, and they were all based on Hindu mythology, so-called mythology or history, and also the Puranas and Itihasas. So this was the starting point, and apart from that, after that, a anti-Hindu movement, anti-Indian movement was created by the supporters of the British rule, and that picked up potential, that picked up momentum in the name of social justice, saying that just like Christianity being called as the opiate of men, when Karl Marx referred to religion as the opiate of men, he did not have any exposure whatsoever to Hinduism other than bias and prejudice. So all his referring to the religion in a negative light belongs to the Christianity and the activities of the church in Europe. So basically that narrative was transferred to India, and that narrative became a part of some of the movies. But again, Hindu revivalism happened in the media, in cinema especially, during the mid 1950s all the way till the 1960s and 1970s, because many great movies depicting Hinduism, depicting our culture, depicting the life of our Nayanmars, Alvars, like Thiruvilayadal, and then Thiruvarutchelvar, Thirumal Perumai, all of these movies continuously came depicting nationalism, depicting the culture and the spirituality and religion of our country. Later on, once again, due to the second Marxist wave that happened because of certain unemployment and other issues in the society, the second Marxist wave happened, and the whole society turned on its head towards showing Hindus in a negative light, showing Hindu Dharma, everything that is the culture, in a negative light. This is my narrative. Now, along this narrative, what we need to understand is this has got nothing to do whatsoever with Nityananda or the type of gurus like Nityananda, and this is actually the attack on the organic Hinduism. So this is on one level. But what Nityananda is trying to do here is to bring in his own narrative, his own problems into this. He is saying, if this video of mob lynching was not released, exactly his words, I am paraphrasing, okay, if the mob lynching video was not released, then they would have created a morphed sex scandal video of these sannyasis. This is exactly what he is saying, and this single statement is being repeated. I am speaking about his first video on Hindu Holocaust. This statement is being repeated again and again throughout the video, because he wants to relate the lynching to his own scandal. What he is trying to say here, and he is also quoting Tirupur Ramalingam case, wherein he is say that Tirupur Ramalingam was a person who was murdered by Muslim fundamentalists, and he was murdered because he stopped to tried to stop the conversion of the Muslims in his locality, and he was murdered for that. He was given Balidan for that reason, and I absolutely condemn this. I have already spoken a lot about this, and even about the mob lynching of the sannyasis. On that note, I have to say it is highly condemnable. Whatever evangelist Marxist forces are behind this has to be punished, has to be persecuted, and no doubt they will be persecuted, because for the first time ever we are having a truly secular government in India, and true secularism is the actual nature. True secularism is the actual nature of the Hindu religion as well, and when this is being done, equal justice will be done to everybody. That being said, I am having high hopes for that case. So what Nityananda is saying here is, if Ramalingam's video has not come out, then there will be some sex scandal or real estate scandal created about him. Now the problem here is, he is comparing an organization called Nityananda Dhyanapitham and Nityananda Sangha, which is existing solely for the purpose of making money using spirituality, to a person who is an innocent bystander, who simply got the guts and the feelings and the emotion to safeguard his own dharma, to ask a simple question that I am willing to accept Islam. In return, you accept Hinduism. You keep vibhuti on your forehead. This is exactly what he told the Muslim fundamentalists who killed him. So basically, this person on one hand, and on the other hand, we have an organization which is continuously calling people just for the purpose of making money. And what is the sadhana that they are giving? Watching Nityananda. Now there is no comparison. This is mixing like water and milk. It is very, very hard to separate. We have to boil it to a certain temperature so that the water will come out and we can capture that. The milk will remain. We have to boil it to a certain temperature. If we go beyond that temperature, then the milk will also start coming out. So this is a very critical issue. It is a very, very critical discussion that I am taking up here, and we need to be very careful here, because this is the way in which I can be called anti-Hindu. I am not speaking against the actual organic Hinduism of our country that is actually under genuine attack and persecution because of negative reasons by the anti-Hindu elements. I am only against Nityananda and the fellows like him who are using Hinduism to make money and actually not giving anything back to Hinduism. So here Nityananda or Rajashekar is saying the attack on Ramalingam, I will add some more names to that, is actually same as the attack on him. How does this make sense? Because first of all, the scandal, let us say, of Jayendra Saraswati Swamigal of Kanchi Mutt, the late pontiff of Kanchi Mutt, did not even have one single photograph. The murder case was a made up case, okay, and that also got resolved in the court. He faced that in the court till the end of his life, and he was declared as an innocent person in the case. The persecution happened because of certain political happenings and certain financial problems between Kanchi Mutt and the ruling party at that time. I do not want to go into much details about it, because much of it is already discussed and spoken about, and much of it is actually information that cannot be disclosed for the want of legal persecution, for the fear of legal persecution. So on these two notes, we need to be very careful. Not even a single photograph of the alleged sex scandals was available, and not even a single person filed a case against the Kanchi Mutt stating I have been sexually abused. All these things were only speculations made by yellow paper journalists like Nakiran. And again, it is like water and milk, because on one hand, the same people who are persecuting the organic Hinduism are also persecuting Nityananda, and Nityananda is claiming that he is working against these people. And what is the actual work that he has done? We need to look at this carefully. He has not raised even a single case against the so-called anti-Hindu elements whom he says is persecuting him. Okay, only one case that he raised was against Sun TV, and that too was on a commercial note of defamation, not on a spiritual note, not on the note that I do not want to be called like this because I am a Hindu sannyasi. He said, you have raised the video and you have created defamation for me, now you have to pay me something. So that went on. Unlike any other media house which is existing to sell itself, they gave in after a certain point of time. But still, undoubtedly, that video was not morphed, the reports came. Nityananda Sangha has created a different opposite narrative, and they are still maintaining that it is a morphed video, while the evidence is existing to the opposite. Okay, now on this note, Nityananda is trying to project himself on top of this Hindu persecution by saying, myself and my sannyasis similarly got affected. That is my problem, because Nityananda and his sannyasis have raised cases against many Hindu organizations. This is very, very important, and not against any anti-Hindu organization. We need to understand this. He made some people, some 10 foreigners speak Madras Tamil bad words, and some children, young children who are not supposed to speak like that, he made them speak. He made it into a vulgar display of sannyasis speaking bad words. In my other video, I gave this example. That is, we see a old man who is wearing vibhuti, rudraksha, white and white. He is looking like a sadhu. He is looking like a proper traditional Hindu. Okay, he is walking in the street. Now, one drunken fellow, one loafer, is coming and speaking bad words, troubling this old man, this old gentleman. The people in the street are looking at this, and they will be cursing this loafer who is creating problems for this gentle old man, for this religious person. Now suddenly this religious person is starting to spew more bad words. That is, if this rowdy fellow is actually speaking about this person's mother, this fellow is this religious person, all of a sudden he starts pulling in his all the 5-6 generations of that rowdy. Now what will happen to this scenario? People will be surprised, they will be disgusted, not with the rowdy or not with the loafer who created the problem in the first place, but with the old gentleman who is suddenly become a rowdy himself. So that is not the way in which we need to react, especially not with children and sannyasis. You raise the case, you put case against Vairamuthu. Why no case was filed against Vairamuthu in the court by Nityananda Sangha? Why no case was filed against Veeramani from Nityananda Sangha? Because they know very well that apart from creating all this vibrations in the society, apart from making all this marketing scenario, apart from doing all this what we call as fake protesting, okay, Oola Udar is what we call it in Tamil. Oola Udar is one fellow coming and standing in front of your house and saying, "Ai, Achirunda dai, Kisirunda dai," doing all these things. But when you actually come out and call him, "Hey, vada inga," he will say, "Hey, apra varanda dai," and he will run away. This is exactly what is called as Oola Udar. I will kill you, I will do this to you, I will do this to you, all those things. And when you are coming and saying, "Hey, come here," he will immediately say, "I will come later," and he will run away. This is called as Oola Udar. This Oola Udar is exactly what happened in case of all the bad words spoken by Nityananda Sangha people against the so-called against the actual anti-Hindu elements. So his so-called Hindu supporters, Hindu warriors, what did they do actually? They came, they spoke some bad words, they spoiled the name of sannyasis, they spoiled the name of Hindu children, and they went away. That is all that happened. Nothing more, nothing less. No protest in the street, no legal action, and no logical intellectual statements made in the media or in the social media. All that was done was creating some noise. So this creating noise is what he is calling as pro-Hindu activity. Point number 1. Point number 2, Nityananda is saying is that if he was available in India at this point of time for speaking out in the support of the sadhus, there will be cases filed against him. But he is also saying, Paramashiva is protecting me, Kala Bhairava is protecting me, so I will never be available to the Indian police. Now this is the problem. Because when Indian police has taken action against Nityananda, for what purpose we need to understand. One woman is coming and filing rape charges against him. Police is taking action. So many real estate problems are coming, police is taking action. And that too, they are not simply going and trying to arrest him. They are giving proper notice. It is happening through the courts, and till this moment he is evading that. And the reason he is giving for evading that is the entire police, the entire judicial system of India is anti-Hindu. Okay, now if the entire judicial system of India is anti-Hindu, then recently during your Gujarat ashram eviction, why did Nityananda Sangha use the same judicial system to give cases against those whom he is saying has attacked his organization? If you do not believe in the justice system of India, then why are you using the justice system of India when you want to defend yourself? When it is offensive to you, you are saying it is wrong. When you want to defend yourself, you will use the same judicial system. This is the hypocrisy that I am pointing out in this case as well. The attacks against the sannyasis and sadhus of India, traditional sannyasis and sadhus of India, does not equate with the attacks on Nityananda because of one simple reason: these sannyasis and sadhus do not claim themselves to be God. They do not capture men and women, young men and women from the families and forcibly convert them to sannyasa by brainwashing them. They do not make millions of dollars selling spirituality. And none of the promises that Nityananda is making are being fulfilled. That is the reason why people are dissatisfied with him. Not because he is a Hindu sannyasi. It is a very simple problem of economics, and it is a very simple problem of common give and take transaction, commerce. How? Well, you are promising enlightenment, peace of mind, healing, childbirth, whatever. Each of his programs are targeting one particular need of human beings, and he is trying to fulfill that, and he is promising to fulfill that. So huge amounts of money is being collected for each of these programs, for health, for wealth, for whatever reason. But when people do not get what is being promised and their money is being taken, on top of that they are being asked to pull in more people for bringing same kind of money. That is the point of time where anyone will wake up and say, I have wasted my money, this is wrong. I have wasted my life, this is wrong. So whatever I can salvage, I will salvage and I will come out, and whatever I can get back, I will fight for it and I will get it back. So this is a separate problem. This is a totally different problem. But what Nityananda is trying to portray here is this problem of people who have been fooled by him, who have been cheated by him, rising up against him, is similar to the mobs which are rising up against the sadhus and sannyasis of India for killing them. That is the ultimate equation that is being created in this narrative, in this video. So again and again he is repeating the same thing, that the media is against the sadhus and sannyasis. They would have covered this whole story up like what they did for me. This like what they did for me is the only problem that I have. Because what happened to you, Rajashekara, is actual exposure of what you did, not some cooked up story. There is so much of evidence to back it up. Never before has this much of video evidence been available for the wrongdoing of a fake Hindu guru in India. You have created a record for this. First thing. Second thing, whatever any fake sannyasi or fake guru has done in India, they have actually undergone the legal process. Whether they escaped the legal process or they got punished is a different issue. But they have actually undergone the legal process, and you are the only person who has the guts to move away from India to escape the clutches of the law, which I think you will not be able to continue. Okay, you will get caught, there is no doubt about it. You will get caught, because all of us are praying that you should be persecuted, not because you are a Hindu or a sannyasi, but this very same reason that you are neither a Hindu nor a sannyasi. You should be persecuted for one reason, leave alone all the other reasons. I mean, let us forget for a moment all the other things. Okay, all the lives that has been spoiled, all the money that has been taken away, all the murders that has happened, let us set this as all the mysterious deaths, I am sorry, not murders, mysterious deaths that has happened, let us keep that aside for a moment. For one single reason that you are claiming to be a Hindu, you must be persecuted. Because if we take your example of a Hindu, then all the persecution that is happening from the media becomes correct. That is the problem. All the persecution that is happening in India from the journalists, from the media, everything is absolutely justified if we take Nityananda as the example, because he has done so much damage. That is the reason why I am trying to separate this water from the milk. The milk is Hindu Dharma and water is the Nityananda and his Sangha, and that too not normal water, sewage water. So I am trying to separate sewage water from milk, because the milk is being persecuted and the sewage water is saying, people are saying I am stinking. Similar, just like they are trying to say the milk is stinking, but the milk is actually not stinking, the sewage water is actually stinking. That is the problem. So for that reason alone you must be persecuted. That being said, there are many more aspects to this, because there is around 9 to 10 hours of content available on this Hindu Holocaust from Nityananda and Rajasekhara. And also another very important thing that he is saying in this video, first 24 minutes of the video, is what I have analyzed right now. I will continue to analyze those videos part by part. I am going to create a narrative explaining and exposing every single bit of Nityananda's hypocrisy and Nityananda's cunningness in using this sentiment of Hindu Holocaust in order to gain more sannyasis and gain more money for himself, and in order to escape from all the persecution that is happening to him, trying to portray that he is also a martyr just like these sadhus and sannyasis. Unfortunately it is not so. And one more thing that he is saying here, to quote, is that I am being protected by Paramashiva and Kalabhairava. Now during the start of the Paramashivoham level 2 program, Nityananda was claiming that he has become Paramashiva, it is Paramashiva speaking through this being. Now all of a sudden he has become Nityananda again. Again he will become Paramashiva when the program is going on. What sort of an idiot will accept this? The sort of the idiot who is supporting Nityananda. That is the problem. So basically, of all the various tricks that he is trying to use, this is the most dangerous trick that he is trying to use, because it is very, very hard to separate the facts from his narrative and the cunningness from his narrative. The cunningness happens whenever he is relating himself, whatever has happened to him, to the persecution of the Hindu sannyasis and organic traditional Hinduism in India. Whenever he is doing this, immediately we need to understand that the basic facts are over, Nityananda is lying. So we need to put two columns. On one side we need to have the basic facts of persecution that is happening in India against Hinduism and Hindu sannyasis. On the other column we have Nityananda trying to include himself in the narrative. And it is the same mistake, it is the same wanton cunning mistake that Rajiv Malhotra ji did in his 2-year-old video, where he called an expert to speak about Hindu sannyasis being persecuted, taking 3 examples of Peshawar Swami, say one Chinna Jiyar from Tamil Nadu, and also Kanchi Periyava, Jayendra Saraswati Swamigal. So these 3 people he has taken, and these 3 people, actually that person has written a book about them, it seems, about these 3 persecutions it seems, and that person is only describing about these 3 traditional sadhus, traditional sannyasis, and the 4th one that Rajiv is explaining is about Nityananda. Now this is an insertion, this is making a foundation of truth and then inserting a lie on top of it. Mixing lies with truth is the most dangerous trick that conmen can play, and that is the most difficult area to separate ourselves from, and that is the most difficult area to analyze and expose the truth, because if we miss one step of that, then we will be pointed out, and we will be grouped with the same people who are working against Hinduism. Let me make it very clear. I have a history of being in Sangha Parivar. I am an active Hindu practitioner, and I am a nationalist. There is no doubt about it. I am a right-wing nationalist, and I absolutely agree and I absolutely support Hindu tradition and culture. There is no questions asked here. But the damage that is being done to the Hindu tradition and culture by the fake gurus is the only reason why there is ground for Hinduism to be persecuted. Let me put it this way. The way that Nityananda exists is the valid reason that is available for persecuting Hindus. So Hindus have to clearly say, and Hindus have to clearly declare that we have got nothing to do with these mushrooms who are born in yesterday's rain. In Tamil we have an adage saying நேத்திக்கு பேஞ்ச மழையில இன்னைக்கு முளைச்ச காளான். That is mushroom that is being born, that is being grown by yesterday's rain. That is exactly what Nityananda is. He does not have a lineage, he does not have a tradition, nothing, absolutely nothing, and he does not have any sound grounding or any sound knowledge in the scriptures either. He cannot be called as a Hindu sannyasi, and he cannot even be called as a practicing Hindu because he does not even own the basic knowledge. So himself trying to portray as a Hindu guru and then trying to come into the same list of the sadhus being lynched is a devious, cunning trick. It is a evil act that needs to be clearly explained. I will continue to expose him on this note by watching his Hindu Holocaust videos. I have done a lot of research on this note. That is the reason why there has been a huge long pause in my original content. I was using commenting, that is also original content, but essentially I was basing upon the comments from Mr. Kailashi. That will also continue because we have only crossed 46 points. There are more points on that note. That will also continue. So that being said, we will end this video, and I will continue to analyze the Holocaust narrative of Nityananda, and I will clearly try to separate sewage water from milk, and by Ambal's grace I will be successful in making you understand the difference, hopefully. दक्षं योरा वृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वञ्जिगातु वेषजं शन्नो अस्तु द्विपते सञ्चतुष्पते आं शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. नमस्ते.